Today I thought I'd show you how to use masks. I make them from various materials, hot glue. I just made a whole heap of new ones yesterday because I just felt that I wanted to do some jelly printing with masks again. And these are what the cutouts from masks that I've cut from manila folders, which is a great weight of card to use on the jelly plate, and you can get some beautiful prints onto these actual block out masks, which you can use in collage. The other thing I'll be using is a hand cut stencil. I'll be using some grass that I've collected. This is a nice beautiful eucalyptus leaf, and some stamps that I've made using craft foam on a piece of mat board, stuck to a piece of mat board. These are very easy to make and they work really well on the jelly plate. You can make all sorts of designs, however you want to make them. You can make them, that's really to fit the 6x6 jelly plate, but you can make them in different sizes as well. I just put them onto card, and this is just a bit of masking tape so that it's got a bit of a handle, and you can make different shapes. And here are some of the masks I made yesterday out of hot glue, and I'm going to be printing onto hosho or rice paper. The paints that I'm going to use are Atelier Free Flow, this abstract Zenelia innovative acrylic they call it. It's in a sort of a pouch. That's yellow ochre. This is bronze, iridescent bronze. And then I've got these Atelier Flow interactive paints, green gold, transparent Perignon orange, Australian sienna, and Indian yellow, and I've got black and Payne's grey, and then I've got a viscous white, titanium white paint to use as my plan B, which I'll show you later. The other thing I use is this fan to dry the paint off in between if I want to use the plan B. And of course you need a brayer. I've got a couple here. There's a couple of speedball ones, they're softer, and then this is a hard roller. Right, so these are the these were cut from this manila folder, and what I do is I keep it the two sides because I can also use that rather than restricting myself to one or the other. And as the paint builds up, they become much stronger. So I'll get started. So I might just start with the Payne's grey to start with. Just put a little bit on. roller it out. Oh, by the way, this is a commercial jelly plate this time. This is a Speedball one, gel press. And you'll notice too that when I start, because I've cleaned it up before, you get this sort of speckledy thing going on until I get into it a bit more. But that doesn't worry me. I quite like that because it adds a bit of texture. Now I'll use some of this yellow ochre down the bottom. And you can see this is much more viscous paint. So it had, you know, it's got a different effect. And this will probably stay on the plate a little better as well. You might notice that. It's because of the viscosity as well. So I'll just go up a bit like this. Maybe put a bit there. Then I'll add a couple of these masks that I made. They're all a bit wacky, so that's usually what I like to do. I like to make things a bit different rather than having things that are recognisable. I prefer to have something a little bit more interesting, I suppose. And you don't have to keep it all on the plate either. You can have some of it going off. And then what you can do is you can also use the mask, work it out where you want it. Right. For the first print, and see in there, you might like to put something in there as well. So you might like to stamp into it with a little stamp. Oh, not that one. What about this one? See this? So you can do some stamping into it as well. And then put some of that up here. Maybe a little bit in here. Right. And then you take a piece of paper and pull your first print. And by the way, this is just the start on this one piece of paper. You can just keep working on that one piece of paper. And what happens is, because you're working on that one piece of paper and you're putting ghost prints and the fully charged print onto the paper, it will remain looking as though it belongs there, rather than having all different colours. And so can you see that? And you can see that speckledy effect of the flow paint, but it's rather nice too actually on the paint. And you can see how it ends up going onto the mask. That's fine. Then what you could do is you could put the ghost print onto the bottom of this for a start. Like this. Right, it's going to take more of the paint off the plate. Feel there's not enough. And this first print is never as good as subsequent, you know, when you start working on the plate. Although it might be what you like. I'm not saying that it's not right or wrong, it's just different. So if it's not doing what you want, go back over it and see how that made a big difference by pressing it further. Right, so we pull that off, and this needs more work on it. Get right down in between those pieces of glue. Okay. Right, so you can see here we've got a positive negative thing going on. Right, so the next thing is to remove the glue stencil, the glue masks. Okay. This one, this one. Right, now what I do, I use the fan to dry what's on the plate. So just give it until you feel that it's dry enough. This is a much better method than using a dryer to do this, because you don't want to damage your plate, because they are expensive, and so they're really well worth looking after. Right, so now I'll just put the layer of white paint on there. I'll just clean off the brayer on a spare piece of paper over here, although it's not coming off so well, is it? Because that's dried already. Anyway, we'll do this. Now you don't have to use white, by the way. You can use other colours. It's not. Now you can see how viscous this is. It doesn't have to be a whole heap of it, by the way, either. This needs to be a bit. I think a lot of people make the mistake of putting too much on and then wonder why they don't get the image coming off. So we'll do this. Ready. And what you do is you roll it until you see, you can just see that image coming through. You'll see it in a moment. So can you see that starting to show through? And there. Right. So we might put it through the middle of this, over the middle of it, and see what happens. Let's just put it down a bit further like that. Let's just see what happens. Yeah, see how it's taking the whole, all the image off? A little bit more down here. Right. Can you see that? Okay. So you can look at this and you think, well, okay, I think it needs something in here. So what you could do now is, and I think it needs to be something quite a bit darker maybe. Yes, so I might go for black. A bit of black on the plate. Doesn't want it to work. It's a bit puffed up. Well, we'll use Payne's Grey again. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to spot print something. Right, so just put your paint out. Let's put an image onto here. What about this one? Something that goes with what you've got on your... Usually if you make your own stamps and things, everything goes together anyway because it's your own individual mark making. And then what I would do is decide on this somewhere. What about... that? Right, now if you're going to get it on these bits on or that, what you do is you take a piece of paper and you mask that off like that. Then another piece of paper. And mask that off like that. Right. So that you're not going to get that onto your paper if you don't want it there. And then you can put this down, find the middle of it. That's okay. Put that down and just print that bit. Now, in the interest of unity, you might put a little bit of that somewhere else. What if we put another little stamp on there? Make it a bit different. Or you could do this. See that little thing there? Don't mind that either. So you could put that here, maybe. Just so you get a unified look, that's all. Okay. So there you have it. Right. Now, if I keep going, the plate is going to get more and more conditioned, and it will be much better. The prints will come up better and better. But with this paper, you get a very sensitive image from the plate. And you can see that even though that's got all these starry things in it, that's quite interesting, isn't it? Okay, so that's using stamps and masks made from various materials. I hope you enjoyed it.